So let's check out Analog. This comes with Ableton Suite, and it's one of Ableton's oldest synthesizers, but it's still really great, and there's a lot of use for it. So it's fairly simple. We have here 2 oscillators, 1 noise generator, 2 filters, 2 amplifiers with volume envelopes, 2 LFOs, and a global section with some features like unison, gliding, and vibrato. So first we're gonna cover the oscillators. The default sound that comes with it is just like a saw wave, dual oscillator. And first thing, we're gonna turn off oscillator 2 and focus only on oscillator 1. Now, if you click on any one of these modules, the filter or the amp, so the main window will show you all the options for that section. So right here, the oscillator, we can turn it on and off. Here is the volume. Here is to which filter we're routing the audio of the oscillator. So right now it's filter 1. We can go mix them however we want, or just to filter 2. Here we have only 4 different shapes: saw, sine, a saw wave, square, and noise. Although we also have here a noise generator. Here we have the octave of the oscillators, the semitones, and detuning. Let's go to a saw. Nice, which will make more sense if we turn on oscillator 2 and start detuning one of them to create that unison effect. Let's turn off, let's go back here. Nice, here in the main section, in the main window, in the controls window of the oscillator, we have a pitch envelope, and this is a very simple pitch envelope. We basically have which pitch we're starting with, so from above or below, and how long does it take to reach the actual note that we're hitting. Which again might be nice a tiny bit with a second oscillator. Let's give it some more time. So now they're kind of starting detuned and unisoned and kind of going into the same exact pitch. Right here we have pitch modulation. We'll talk about LFOs later. This is disabled because the LFO is turned off. If we turn it on, go back, now it's enabled. We'll talk about LFOs later in a different video. Here we have key tracking. So by default, it's just going to give us the same pitch. Let me load also a tuner so we can see it. And right here, if I turn this off, if I turn it all the way down to 0, there's no key tracking, pitch tracking. So that means all the notes give us the same key, useful for synthesizing percussive sound. And we can even stretch it beyond 100. So if I start bringing it up, the middle C, as I hit it, will still be C. But as I go up, now D is good. Let's turn off oscillator 1. D is going to be oscillator 2. D is going to be much higher. So meaning we're kind of stretching the keyboard, and each note skip will be much higher distance in pitch and frequency. So that's the pitch tracking. Here we have pulse width, which will only be available if we select the square or the pulse wave. Now we can change the width. We can also LFO that if the LFO is turned on. Right here we have 2 modes for the oscillator. We have sub mode, which we bring it up, is going to start mixing in another oscillator, an internal one, octave lower. And we can also change it to sync mode, and this again will work with an internal oscillator, but this time it will restart the oscillator 1 in this case, according to the phase of this other internal oscillator, creating this very familiar classic sync sound. So that's the 2 modes, sub and sync. Nice, and we also have another oscillator 2, which is identical, so we have 2 of them to work with. And here we have a noise generator. Let me turn off oscillator 1. And this noise generator is just a regular white noise, and you have a filter here with the color. And also this you can decide to which filter it goes and what's the volume. We don't have any controls for the noise except this section. So this is the oscillator modules in analog. Next time the next video, we'll check the amps.